Hello and welcome! My name is Heather, I'm a registered professional counselor, and we're gonna watch Love is Blind Season 2.
Like, you are the most incredible girl I've ever met. I want everything we have, but I also want to feel like an intense physical connection.
So Shake is being really open about his feelings and about his struggles with his physical attraction to Deepti. I wonder if this is the first conversation that they've had about this, or I actually can't quite remember if they've talked about this before, but he's definitely been open about this with everyone else. Also, just a reminder that everything I'm mentioning in these videos are complete speculation. I am not in a counseling session with these characters. I don't know them personally. It's not ethical to diagnose them from afar. The point of these videos is to use examples from the show to be able to talk about relationship concepts, psychology theories, and also communication styles and how we can improve them in our own lives.
I have no clue what happened, but we have not had sex yet. We are not physical in that way.
And Deepti is being very open and understanding, and she's not taking it personally, but she's just trying to see what they can do to move forward. And it's okay if they haven't been intimate yet, especially if he's dealing with his own struggles around his physical attractiveness to her. And sometimes it can take time in order to feel comfortable with the other person, or it can take time to build on that physical attraction.
Relationships don't have to be this crazy amount of passion right away.
And sometimes the physical attraction towards the other person can grow, and sometimes it doesn't. So it just really depends on the couples and the situation. And maybe it depends on both couples as well, because in terms of sexuality, it is fluid. There are people who are asexual, meaning that they don't have this desire or this animalistic passion as someone else would, or if they have a very low sex drive or libido. It just really depends on the relationship and the couple, because maybe it's not a big deal for other couples, but for some couples it can definitely be a big issue. So it just really depends on how they're going to move forward and navigate this situation.
It becomes more and more difficult to choose and commit to one.
That's the thing I worry about with you. In this day and age, you can find better all the time.
I can understand why Deepti is having doubts about his attraction to her, because now she's getting worried and she's having fears about him potentially straying from the relationship, right? Because he can easily find someone else that he's attracted to. So not to say that Shake will go and cheat on Deepti, but it can bring a lot of those fears and worries of your partner who might not be physically attracted to you, but they might find someone else physically attractive, especially in this day and age where there's a lot of temptation. It's easy to connect with people on your phone or through social media. I guess that can also bring into question about whether or not she can stay in this relationship if there's such a big discrepancy of their attraction towards each other, because she clearly wants to have some form of intimacy with him, but she has also admitted that he's not her type. You know, he's very different from what she's used to. Maybe she's also dealing with internal struggles of her attraction to him, and she's just not as vocal about it as he is, or she's more willing to look past it compared to him looking past it.
That real compatibility, I think, exists with me and Deep. Like, they gave me the perfect woman.
So Shake is sharing with his friends about his experience and his emotional connection with Deepti, and also how she checks all the boxes and there are other boxes he didn't realize that, you know, was important to him. So he's definitely being very open about his feelings for her, and it seems like he's very genuine with how he's feeling. And it's important to acknowledge that depending on different cultures and where you are in the world, marriage is more so about family and bringing families together and loyalty and dedication and raising kids, and it's not so much about this love or lust or this burning passion of desire for each other. Although, you know, that might be a part of it, but it's definitely not the main focus. So I think for Shake, he's also able to recognize that as well, but it's really hard if you're in the moment and if it is something that is important to you, which is the level of intimacy that you want to have with your partner. So it's definitely not a norm to all the cultures. It's definitely more of a westernized value to fall in love and to have all these levels of passions and burning desires for your partner. But it's not always the main focal point for other cultures or other people in getting in marriages around the world. Before I forget, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to help support this channel.
But do you think that it stems back from you just in the pods when you were like always so like wondering about certain things and looks all the time?
Oh wow,
this
Shayne.
isn't about looks, actually. I'm glad you asked that.
So Shayne is doing a really good job challenging Shake, and that's really good to see. And it's also good to see that Shayne is trying to help Shake have some awareness and make sure that he's not, you know, falling into this pattern of what he was like at the beginning of the experiment, which is just to focus on the girl's physical appearance or to try to guess her weight or what she looked like.
I feel like I'm with, like, a family member sometimes.
Oh.
So this is the second time that I know of that Shake has compared Deepti to his aunt. And it's not even like a sister or a cousin. It's an aunt, like someone who is inherently older than you that you respect. Like, I don't exactly know why he would keep saying this. It's definitely very disrespectful. There's better ways for him to describe how he's feeling or to describe the situation. Like, he knows she's gonna watch this, right? Like, he's being filmed. I don't know why. Like, and if they do get married, it's like your future wife is gonna see that you keep calling her your aunt. Like, why would you put yourself in that position? And like, you definitely could have described it another way or used other words or just say that you aren't physically attracted to her. But, you know, why do you keep telling everyone that she's a family member or she's like your aunt? Like, no, that's not okay at all.
What have you done to try to make it better?
Wow,
Let me
Shayne.
ask you this back. What can be done when you feel this particular way, right?
You gotta spice it up somehow.
I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Shayne is giving some decent advice, which is that you can't always logic your way out of a problem, or you can't always logic your way into a solution. Sometimes you do need to take action and you need to try something different to see if you get a different outcome. So for Shayne to basically say like, yeah, you should be doing whatever you can to try to see if you can fix the problem. And if you can't fix the problem, then at least you know that you gave it your all. You gave it 100% and you can live your life without having regrets of not trying and not wondering like, oh, if I did this differently, would we still be together? Or if I did this differently, like, would things work out?
With your aunt?
You can't think about that kind of thing, man. You can't think about
You do have to think about it because it's my whole life.
Everyone's like turning off the lights, putting on some boys to bed.
He's not giving him wrong advice. And yeah, it's about taking action and also trying to figure out what you can do to try to solve the problem. Because if you're talking to multiple people by saying like, oh, this is an issue, and you're just essentially complaining, but you're not really putting in the steps to try to fix or find a solution, then you can't really see if it's a problem worth fixing. Also, Deepti mentioned that Shake isn't her type and that she's used to dating tall guys who are blonde or Caucasian, and we don't hear her saying that Shake reminds her of her uncle. Like, come on, Shake. Come on.
I'm afraid to at this point. She's like my best friend. She's like the best friend I could have ever hoped for. I don't want to take it to that level.
So what's interesting is that he said that he was afraid. So this kind of makes more sense now as to why he's so hesitant or why he's not really putting much effort into finding a solution, because he's worried that if he does try to find a solution and it still doesn't work out, then he's going to lose his best friend. So his actions are driven by fear. It's very fear-based. He is worried about losing someone he cares about, and if he continues to either complain or not find a solution or not try to fix this, then he can essentially still stay in that relationship.
Don't come here to like, oh, I might lose my best friend. No, dude, like, you could have the best friend and the wife if everything goes well, if you do take that kind of risk and try it out, man.
And I guess that's what he's trying to figure out, is to whether or not he can accept being in a relationship, because he doesn't want to lose that strong emotional connection, which, you know, it looks like he really does have, and it's something that he really cares about and he doesn't want to let go of. But he's having the struggle of like, I'm just not physically attracted to her. Is this something I can live or not live with?
And if it isn't that way, then you for sure know, at least, man.
That's a good point.
And I'll be honest with you, your way's not working so far, is it?
It's not.
No, so why don't you stop with your way and listen to my way once and just try it?
Shake seems really receptive to Shayne's advice, and maybe that's what he needed to hear, is to have someone he trusts just give him the hard facts of life, which is that you need to go for it, you need to try something. The way that you've done things isn't working for you, and so just try something new, try something different, try to find answers and solutions, and then that way you can move on with your life without regrets. And so maybe this can be the start of him thinking and brainstorming about what he can do to try to find a solution or to try to make things work, especially if he says that he doesn't want to lose her. Well, he's going to lose her if he doesn't try to do anything. So he needs to put the effort into finding a solution, or to figuring out what it is he wants from this relationship, whether or not he can give up that level of attraction towards someone, or that animalistic attraction that he's wanting or looking for. It's clearly an issue. He's talked to basically everyone about this problem, and he's even talked to his mom about it and Deepti. So he needs to do something, because he can't just keep saying that it's an issue, and not find a solution. Hopefully this conversation has spark something in him, and he'll be more willing to give it a try. And, you know, maybe they just need to be intimate because they haven't done that yet. Or maybe they just need to have different levels of affection. So maybe just, you know, hand holding or hugging each other or kissing. You know, there's a lot of different ways to show intimacy. It doesn't necessarily mean having sex.
You gotta try, you gotta go out of the box and think of something. But yet you are just too afraid to even just attempt to do it, just because you're afraid you might lose a friend or whatever it is on it.
And he's clearly having this internal struggle, this internal battle of what he's used to having, right? So he's used to having this, he described it as like an innate animalistic attraction versus this very new and deep emotional bond that he has with someone. And yeah, he's struggling. He doesn't know what to do. It seems like he really wants this emotional bond. Well, he wants both, which I can understand, right? It's not one or the other, but I think it's just figuring out internally, what are you willing to compromise? What are you willing to give up for the relationship? Because he did say earlier that the emotional aspect was overshadowing the physical stuff, and maybe it just comes down to him accepting the fact that it's okay not to have this animalistic attraction, because eventually that will fade anyways in a relationship. Like if you're going to be with a person for 20, 30, 40 somewhat years, you're not always going to have that animalistic attraction. And what's left is that emotional connection, that companionship, and that friendship over time. It's definitely something that he will need to figure out as to whether or not he's able to accept that. What do you think about Shayne's advice to Shake? Let me know in the comments below.
I want to fuck you emotionally before I actually fuck you. Before I find out you're good in bed, I want to find out you're good in head.
Oh my God.
This is a strong enough connection.
So he's planned a romantic date, and it seems like he's really trying, and he's going in with the intention of them being intimate by the end of this date. So hopefully, well, not hopefully, I guess we'll have to see if that's what happens.
A lot of times in the last few weeks, I found myself kind of pushing you away, but I care about you so much. Nobody knows me the way you do. I've never been as open with anybody else.
So it seems like his conversation with Deepti is very genuine. He's being very vulnerable and open. And we've seen him get to this place before where he's very vulnerable and he's very open and reflective and sharing how he's feeling. And it seems that maybe Deepti brings that side out of him.
Living with you and like creating this bond, like it's just like a growing love. I just want to like build a family. What if this is like our chance?
And she's also being very understanding, and it looks like she is willing to just focus on the future and wanting to make it work. And she's talked about, you know, wanting to start a family, and that maybe this is an opportunity for them to do that if that's something that they both really want to do. I really wonder if this is something that they can work on in their relationship. I can definitely see how it can work for some couples. I can also see that it could be a deal breaker, and that's okay. You know, if it's important for you to be physically attracted to someone. And again, everyone has their preferences. It's not really for us to judge of whether or not he's being shallow or this and that, because he also clearly wants to have that emotional bond with someone as well. And it just really comes down to whether or not he can overlook that. And also maybe for Deepti too, but she's just not as vocal about her lack of physical attraction to Shake as he is. Maybe this is something that could be worked on, maybe it can't. It really depends on them. So I guess we'll have to see whether or not after this date, if they were able to be intimate, and whether or not that's changed anything in their relationship. Maybe they were able to find a solution, and maybe it's gonna be fine. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more analysis videos like this. Feel free to check out my other therapist reviews videos, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, be kind and love yourself.